The story begins with a beautiful young girl sleeping alone in her room. The room is completely silent, and she is in a deep sleep. Suddenly, someone pulls her blanket away, and that small movement is enough to wake her up. As she slowly opens her eyes and tries to sit up to check what just happened, someone grabs her hair from behind and slams her head down onto the pillow. Pain and fear rush through her body. When she looks up to see who it is, the sight in front of her freezes her completely. The person standing there is her own father. With a trembling voice, the girl asks, "Dad, what's wrong with you?" But her father doesn't answer. He just stands there silently, staring at his own daughter with disturbing and inappropriate eyes. Then he slowly brings his face closer to hers and says in a low, unsettling voice, "My daughter, you've grown up so much." Hearing these words, the girl becomes absolutely terrified. Tears start rolling down her face. Now the man releases her hair and begins touching her face. The girl starts crying out of fear. She doesn't understand what is happening to her or why this nightmare feels so real. And then, without saying another word, her father simply walks out of the room, leaving her alone, shaking and broken. The next morning arrives. We see her mother in the kitchen preparing breakfast. Everything looks completely normal on the surface. The girl's name is Mary. As Mary sits at the breakfast table, her mind keeps replaying last night's horror. She keeps thinking, should I tell Mom about what happened to me last night? At that moment, her younger sister and her little brother come and sit at the table. A few moments later, their father joins them as well, acting as if nothing happened the previous night. Mary watches him closely and thinks to herself, last night he looked at me in such a disgusting way. So how can he act so normal now? This thought makes her feel sick. Unable to sit there anymore, Mary gets up from the table and quietly walks away. Suddenly, her mother slams the food plate down on the table. Now her mother starts eating in a very strange way, almost like she hasn't eaten anything for months. Seeing her mother behave like this, the children become scared. Then, her little brother spits out the food and says nervously, "There's too much salt in this." Suddenly, the mother grabs the food and starts eating it like a mad person, stuffing it into her mouth without stopping. Seeing this, the children are completely shocked. But the question is, why are such disturbing things happening to this family? The truth is, ever since this family moved into a new cottage, their lives have slowly turned into a nightmare. Strange things started happening almost immediately. Sometimes, their neighbors would secretly place creepy statues in their backyard, and other times, they would hang dead animals right in front of their house. Inside the house, things were even worse. Every night, the father behaved inappropriately with his own daughter, while the mother ate food like a starving wild animal and even tried to force her half-eaten food into her son's mouth. But the boy refuses to eat it and slowly looks toward his father for help. The father calmly says, "If you don't want to eat it, then don't." Hearing this, the mother turns and looks at him with pure rage in her eyes. The next moment, she throws the food across the table and smashes the plates onto the floor. The loud noise terrifies the children. She starts screaming at her son, "Whatever I cook, you will eat it quietly." Her voice is so loud and aggressive that the boy breaks down and starts crying. The father and Mary stand there in shock, unable to understand what is happening to the woman they once knew. But this was only the beginning. Meanwhile, Mary is taking a shower in the bathroom. Steam fills the room, and water keeps running. Suddenly, she feels like someone is standing right behind her. She wipes the fog off the mirror and freezes in fear when she suddenly sees her sister standing there. A few moments later, both sisters are inside their room. That's when the younger sister finally speaks. She tells Mary how every single night their father comes into her room and behaves in a strange and terrifying way. Hearing this, Mary feels her heart sink. She can't believe that the same thing happening to her is also happening to her little sister. Before they can say anything more, the door suddenly opens. Their father walks in. He has heard everything. Without saying a word, he suddenly pulls out a knife and attacks both of them. Mary pushes him away with all her strength, and both sisters run for their lives, escaping the room in fear. Once again, their father suddenly appears in front of them. Without warning, he grabs Mary by her hair. For a few seconds, he just stands there, staring at both sisters in silence. Then, with terrifying force, he lifts Mary and throws her away. Mary crashes down the staircase, rolling down the steps, and due to the impact, she loses consciousness. Meanwhile, Mary's sister Anna, terrified and shaking, turns around and starts running away. As she runs, she looks back, only to realize that their father is not chasing her. Instead, he walks into the storage room. A moment later, he comes out holding a hammer in his hand. At the same time, Mary slowly regains consciousness. Her head is spinning, and pain shoots through her body. She struggles to get up and starts calling out for her sister, desperately searching for Anna. Suddenly, she feels a strange presence behind her. Her heart starts racing. The moment she turns around, she freezes in fear. Standing right in front of her is her father, holding the hammer high in the air. He is just about to strike, but at that exact moment, Anna screams loudly, and the sound makes him stop. Anna grabs a baseball bat and hits hits her father straight in the face with all her strength. But shockingly, it has no effect on him at all. Enraged, he turns toward Anna and swings the hammer at her. Anna quickly ducks, and the hammer slams violently into the door, leaving a deep mark. Suddenly, they hear someone coming upstairs. The footsteps are heavy and familiar. It's their father's voice, calling out as he climbs the stairs. Hearing this, the man holding the hammer suddenly freezes. He throws the hammer to the floor and quickly disappears into another room. When the father finally reaches upstairs, he is shocked by what he sees. The room is damaged, the door is broken, and the atmosphere feels completely wrong. He then notices his daughters, who immediately step back, their faces filled with fear. At that moment, his foot hits the hammer lying on the floor. He looks down, then notices the hole in the wall. Angrily, he asks, "Were you two fighting here?" But neither Mary nor Anna says a single word. Just then, their little brother steps out of the room and comes toward them. Mary and Anna quickly tell him to run away. At that exact moment, a woman suddenly appears and picks up the hammer. It is their mother. The father looks at his wife in confusion. Before he can react, she suddenly attacks him. He tries to stop her, but she pushes him hard, sending him to the ground. The mother then gives a terrifying smile. She calmly steps over the broken glass as if she feels no pain at all and slowly walks into her room. Suddenly, from downstairs, they hear another woman's voice, and this voice belongs to their real mother. She steps forward and asks everyone, "What is going on here?" But instead of answering, everyone starts backing away from her in fear. With trembling hands, they slowly open the bedroom door, but the room is completely empty. No one is there. All they find is the hammer lying on the floor. The mother walks toward her daughters and gently asks, "What happened?" But both Anna and Mary are terrified of her. They don't respond. They don't even move. Seeing the situation getting worse, the father decides to call his brother to the house. His brother is a priest at a church. When the church father arrives, he listens carefully and tells them about similar cases he has seen before, cases where dark forces slowly destroy families from within. However, the elder brother refuses to believe any of it. To him, everything sounds unbelievable. That night, the family decides to sleep together in one room, hoping that staying close will keep them safe. Late at night, their youngest son wakes up because he needs to use the bathroom. Not wanting to wake anyone, he quietly walks out of the room alone. Moments later, a child who looks exactly like him enters the room. This child slowly picks up a knife and smiles in a very strange and disturbing way. It looks like he wants to kill the father, but suddenly he stops. It feels as if something is holding him back, forcing him not to do it. And just like that, he disappears. That night passes without any more incidents. The priest realizes one thing very clearly: he cannot fight this evil alone. So he reaches out to his senior priests for help. They sit together and discuss what could possibly be happening inside that house. After a long discussion, they decide to go there and perform a prayer ritual. These senior priests are highly experienced in dealing with such cases. They plan to visit the house in the evening. As they begin their journey, everything seems normal, but suddenly, a crow attacks their vehicle, crashing into the front windshield. The glass shatters, the driver loses control, and the car swerves off the road and falls into a deep ditch. On the other side, we see the father inside the house. He ties Mary to the bed. Mary cries and begs, trying to explain that she is not the problem, but the father coldly says this is the only way to fix everything. At midnight, the priest arrives at the house, his clothes covered in blood. He tells them the horrifying truth: all the other priests are dead. Now, whatever needs to be done, they must do it themselves. Seeing Mary tied to the bed, the priest prepares to begin the ritual, but deep inside, he is afraid, because the last time he tried something like this, the demon killed every member of his own family, and now he fears that if he fails again, he might lose his brother's family as well. But his elder brother, with tears in his eyes, looks at him and says, "Do your job. We have to fight this together. If we don't, it will kill all of us." Hearing these words, the priest finally gathers his courage. He lights the candles and begins sprinkling holy water over Mary. The moment the holy water touches her skin, Mary starts screaming in pain. Her screams echo through the room. The priest then places a cross on Mary's chest and begins striking her with a wooden rod. Mary cries out in agony, begging them to stop. Through her pain, she asks, "Why are you doing this to me?" The priest then turns to Mary's father and asks, "Do you still want to continue this treatment?" Seeing his daughter suffer like this, Mary's father breaks down in tears. But when one rod snaps in half, the priest immediately takes out another one and continues. Unable to bear the pain anymore, Mary finally loses consciousness. At the same time, we are shown the place where the priest's car had crashed earlier. The police have arrived at the scene. As they pull the bodies out of the vehicle, suddenly the car explodes violently. Among the people present there is Mary's father's brother, and at that moment, the horrifying truth is revealed. The man who is currently inside Mary's house is not a priest at all. He is the devil himself. That is why he was torturing Mary and making her suffer suffer for no reason. Mary's mother can no longer tolerate this. She screams, "This is not a treatment. If this continues, my daughter will die." She grabs the priest to stop him from hurting Mary, but Mary's father refuses to listen. He violently pushes his wife away and orders the priest, "Continue the ritual." Suddenly, the father turns toward his wife and starts choking her. At that moment, he looks at his brother, and on his brother's face, there is a terrifying smile. Now, the father understands everything. He immediately attacks the demon, but the demon overpowers him and slams him to the ground. Just as the demon is about to kill him, the real priests arrive. They begin chanting powerful prayers. Hearing these holy words, the evil spirit finally starts to weaken and is forced to leave. Mary is now severely injured. She slowly begins walking toward the storage room. At that moment, a priest places a mirror in front of her. As soon as Mary looks into it, the demon inside her body is revealed. The dark spirit screams and tries to escape. The priest makes a final sacrifice. He pulls the demon into his own body and tells his brother to kill him. With trembling hands, his brother takes a broken cross and stabs it straight into his chest. With that one act, both the demon and the priest die together. In the end, the family finally survives the nightmare and is saved from the evil that haunted their lives. The house falls silent once again, and the darkness that destroyed their peace is finally gone. With this, the movie comes to an end.